Court is calling 2024 CR 2791A State versus Ethan Anthony Rosales. Can I have parties announce?
Robert Maurer for defendant.
And are you Mr. Rosales? All right, you entered a plea of guilty on May 23rd. According to your plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 7 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine and the state is silent on your application. Have both parties had a chance to review?
So the PSI, that's the pre-sentence investigation, is essentially the court's cheat sheet. It outlines everything: background, behavior, and recommendations. No objections here. That usually means there's nothing wildly controversial. In it, ... Yet...
The PSI report?
We have, Judge.
Any objections to the PSI report from either side?
No, Judge.
All right. State, you are silent. Defense, do you have any witnesses?
Yes, Judge. I would like to call Tony Rosales.
All right. If they'll come forward, please. Hello. Morning. All right. Just give me one moment, counsel. All right. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah.
All right. You can lower your hand. State your name for the record.
Antonio Rosales.
All right.
And Judge, if I could, I guess, kind of give you some backstory, and I'm sure Megan will let me know if I missed any facts. So this incident took place in 2022. My client was a driver of a car. There were several other young men in the car with him with this incident who participated in this. Subsequent to that incident, my client had been, I guess, arrested, and then Mike Beliveau had represented him. That charge had been dismissed. Okay. Since that time, Ethan he got a job. He became a licensed security guard, passed his level 3, and was, I think, had turned his life around from this incident. And then this charge came back up, and that's what brings us here today. So I can be sure. So he became a licensed security guard, then this charge popped up. Yes, then this subsequent charge, yes. So he had passed all his levels. He was...
Whoa, pause capital murder. That escalated fast. The company Ethan kept clearly took a much darker path. But the law doesn't just look at who pulled the trigger, it's about who was part of the plan. Keep that in mind.
Licensed to carry a firearm as a security guard. He passed all the testing, all the background checks. And then I guess the case got refiled as the deadly conduct. At least 2 of the other juveniles in the car with him, I think, subsequently have been arrested and charged with capital murder, and which is why he's here as a co-defendant on the deadly conduct charge. So obviously, the boys he was with that night, and it's noted in the offense report, he after work had gone to this Nathan kid's house, and that's how he ended up being involved in this situation.
And the capital murder charge has absolutely nothing to do with this offense.
No. So I guess what I just wanted to point out to the court is, since his incident in 2022, Ethan has turned his life around, has a good, productive job. He's still working as a security guard, not carrying a firearm, but just a lower level of security guard. And the reason I wanted his dad up here is to speak to a couple things. First of all, about the changes in Ethan since then, and also about the job opportunities he's got. So may I proceed?
Yes.
So Tony, I know you and I have had several conversations about Ethan and what happened that night. Can you tell the court what sort of attitude or behavior you've seen out of Ethan since this incident back in 2022?
Before and since this incident.
Talk about a gut punch. Imagine turning your life around, putting on a badge, and thinking you're past it, only to have the past knock the door down. This moment hits hard.
I mean, that night he used very, very poor judgment. I mean, he made a very bad decision, but he acknowledges it. His family acknowledges. We all acknowledge what he did. And like I said, like you just said, you know, we all assumed it was resolved and we can start trying to remove this from him. And he proceeded to get his commission with the state. He In fact, the day he was arrested with the indictment, he was on his way to work. He was carrying his firearm. He was in uniform. And then everything came crashing down again. But that still hasn't stopped him. We've talked about him going to St. Philip's College for
Yeah,
CDL.
let me ask you some, well, I have to ask informal questions. So
Okay, I'm sorry.
So what kind of work do you do?
Oh, I'm an HSE engineer on the petroleum industry.
Okay.
I've been doing that for the last decade and a half.
Okay, and so you and I have talked about Ethan's opportunities in the oil field, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you and I have discussed, and Ethan, I guess the goal is if he gets probation, that he wants to apply to be a commercial truck driver. Correct?
Yeah, he's already set up for his SAGE program at St. Philip's College, but we have to wait to see what happens here.
Okay, and then I guess as part of that, if he's able to finish his program as a commercial truck driver, he has a lot of opportunities for work in the oil field and the oil industry, correct?
Yeah. Oh, well, as a service provider, not directly in the oil field, but as a service provider, yes.
Okay, and can you tell the court what a service provider is?
So basically, you'd be transporting materials back and forth. Depending on the outcome of this court, will be determined whether or not he can get his TWIC.
Okay, tell the court what the TWIC is.
Transportation Work Identification Card. There are federal and felony restrictions to that. It's not always 100% that he won't be able to get his TWIC, but he could always get a waiver. The thing is it will limit his opportunities to be able to get a TWIC card if he doesn't get a waiver approved. But then he can still work with a CDL. He just won't have as much opportunities for advancement as he normally would.
But I guess what you're telling the court is Ethan has a lot of opportunities and possibilities facing him. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I guess I didn't see any violation reports or anything that's been filed. I guess, has Ethan been living with you since the incident?
100%. Yeah. I mean, all he does is work and come home and play on the Xbox. I mean, that's basically.
This is a rare moment of honest parenting in court. Dad's not sugarcoating it. He acknowledges how serious the offense was. That carries weight with judges. Trust me.
All he does.
Okay. So you haven't had any problems with him
No.
since then? Okay. And I guess, are you asking the court to give him an opportunity at probation?
Absolutely. I mean, he's not been in trouble before this or since this.
And we went over the PSI together, right? And you saw
Yes, sir.
how serious the offense was, right?
Yes, and I would not. I mean, it's hard for me to say because obviously I want to do everything. I mean, I've got a private lawyer. I did everything I can to try to keep him out of jail, keep him out of prison, because that's not where he belongs. But to be honest with you, I read it and I understand what he did. And even as his father, I still can't say that I wouldn't have the same feelings or make the same statement that they made in the PSI.
Well, I think it's good that you're honest about this situation and recognize the severity of the situation, but also understand that, hopefully, given the opportunity, Ethan can be successful.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all I have, Judge. And Judge, I had given these to Megan. These are just some of his withholding stuff and some other the state licensing stuff.
Right.
That's all I have.
May I ask a question?
Of course.
All right. In regards to this incident,
Good man.
was he living with you during this time?
Yes.
All right. And these people he was involved with, did you know them beforehand?
No. If I could clarify a little bit.
Sure.
So, military, firefighter, paramedic, and then I went into oil field petroleum.
Mm-hmm.
But prior to COVID, and actually up past COVID, I worked overseas, Venezuela, Africa,
Mm-hmm.
Mozambique. So I was gone quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So he predominantly stayed with me when I was in country, which was for 3 weeks at a time, every other month. But the rest of the time he stayed with his mother on that side of town.
Okay.
So yes, he had those friends and everything happened on the west side of town, southwest side of town. I live on going towards Florida off of 181. Since this incident, I've been home 100% of the time. I work in West Texas now.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, he lives with me 100% of the time now. So I'm not saying this is an excuse because it's definitely not an excuse. I was absent a lot with him growing up because I was overseas. but it's not an excuse because I was still there every other month and spent a lot of quality time with him. It might not have been quantity, but it was quality time for him to know that this was not what he should have done. But yes, now I'm with him 100%, or rather he's with me 100% of the time.
All right. And did he talk to you about this incident
Yes.
immediately thereafter?
No, it took some prodding. I mean, more so because he felt when he did break down, you could tell that he was more ashamed of the fact that he did something that he let me down. I not necessarily overbearing, but the military and the firefighter, paramedic, and I've kind of a little bit structured a little bit when I was with my kids, both my kids. And so when he did break down and let me know about everything that happened, obviously I told him we need to do something about it. And in 2023, when we thought it was going to all be resolved in December, January with Michael, we said, okay, let's get back on track. And we spent the time and paid the money for him to get his commission with the state and, follow and work because his mother's commissioned as well. And said that if you want to do that, fine.
This is the turning point. The court isn't dancing around it anymore. A child fired into an occupied home, we're not just talking about wrong place, wrong time. We're in felony territory.
But we need to figure out the job. We need to figure out a career. And so we've been talking about the CDL and him getting with me in the oil field and trying to get away from him. And he has not been with those friends, obviously, because they're locked up, but he's not been involved with anybody on that side of town since.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions?
No, Judge.
And I know you're silent, but any questions about?
I know you stated that you understand them. So did you view the police reports in this case or?
Not since the incident, yes.
Okay.
But not obviously when he was arrested.
Okay. So, you understand that your son made an agreement with these individuals. So these individuals told him, hey, this is what we're going to go do. And your son agreed to go with them. You understand that, correct?
Yes.
And your son did fire his firearm into that house.
Yes, he did.
And it was occupied by multiple people. There were two 2-year-olds inside that home.
Yeah, and I told him, despite the fact that they didn't believe anybody was there, you still fired.
Yes. And besides the two 2-year-olds that were there were other adult individuals in the home as well. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. And one of the victims describes that there were over 200 bullet holes inside their home. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. And your son was aware of this and agreed to engage in this type of conduct back in 2022.
From what I understand, and only from my son's recollection, is that he didn't think it was going to be all what it ended up becoming. Yes, he knew what they were going to go do, but he didn't believe it was going to be as impactful as it was.
So I guess it's my understanding he just didn't believe that the home was occupied, but he understood that he was.
Yeah, but he didn't understand that they were going to do as much damage as they ended up doing.
Okay, but he still engaged
Yes.
shooting the firearm.
Yes.
He passed the witness.
Are any other questions?
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for giving me some insights into your son.
Thank you.
Any other witnesses?
Yes, Judge, I do want to call Axel. I have some issues, I think, as far as if the state's going to be silent. I think cross-examining the witnesses in a manner in which Megan is doing, I think kind of exceeds the scope of the silent.
All right. Well, the court will note that according to the plea bargain agreement, the state is silent, but they are able to address fact issues.
Well, I understand addressing fact issues, but my understanding, Judge, is addressing fact issues as part of argument if I misstate anything, and I have no objection to that.
Okay. All right. The court will note your any objections you have with regards to this witness.
Thank you. And Judge, so I'd like to call Ethan Rosales.
Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Ethan Rosales.
All right. Defense, you may proceed.
So Ethan, you and I reviewed the PSI, right?
Yes, sir.
And I guess over the course of my representation, we've discussed the incident in question, right?
Yes, sir.
Repeatedly. And we discussed the the boys you were with that night, and obviously the path they went on in their life, right?
Yes, sir.
And they're either, I guess, going to end up in prison for life or on death row, depending on whatever election the state has made. And so that kind of tells you the people you were hanging out with, right?
Yes, sir.
And I know you expressed regret about what happened to the people at when you met with the probation officer. But I guess when we looked over the PSI and you saw who was in that house, right?
Yes, sir.
You understand, I mean, how lucky you weren't here on murder or capital murder charges, right?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about your life since the incident. Okay. So I know your dad said after Mr. Belleville got the first charge dismissed, you went out and got your security license, right?
Yes, sir.
And level 3 is the highest level, correct?
There's actually a level 4, but
Okay.
that's private security.
Okay. So you took all these tests, you passed background checks, you got a job.
This is where judges gauge remorse versus rehearsal. Is this just courtroom talk, or has he genuinely learned? The answer may determine if he walks out or gets locked in.
You seem to have your life back on track, right?
Yes, sir.
And then, of course, this new case came out. So obviously the judge has a decision to make about what happens with your life, right? So if you're given the opportunity at probation, you heard your dad talk about the opportunities you have. Do you think you'll be able to take advantage of those opportunities?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to tell the judge about what happened that night, or anything you want to say to the people involved?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm sorry. I didn't know who was in there. That doesn't change the fact of my decision that I made that night, but it stopped me a lot from job opportunities and moving forward in life to make more money and just be successful.
Okay, but the reason it stopped you is because of the decision you made, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I guess if given the opportunity, do you think you'll be able to comply with any orders or conditions the judge imposes?
100%.
Okay. All right. I have nothing further.
All right. Any objections to the court asking?
No, not at all.
questions? Walk me through this. Friends come to you. Were they your friends?
If I thought they were,
All right. So how did you meet them? How did you all become friends?
just growing up in the school, playing basketball at the park, stuff like that.
All right. Were these your only friends?
You know, I have
How do you go from mortal combat to real-life gunfire? This is where the judge tries to unpack intent. Was this peer pressure, poor judgment, or something darker?
more friends.
All right. So explain to me how this happened. You have some friends who come to you. So they come to you, and what do they say?
About that night,
Yes.
I ended up going to their house and they let me know.
All right. So you go to their house. Did they call to you and say, hey, come over, let's have, let's meet? Or how did it come to be that you ended up at their home?
I was just getting off of work. I ended up stopping by their house. They let me know.
All right. So you stop by their house. I like to do things step by step. So you stop by their house. What do you do when you get there? Are you all playing
Video games. Yes,
video games? And so you're playing video games, and tell me how the conversation goes.
I guess they had information of somebody who was in that house, basically. And it was down the street, so we just get caught up.
Well, no. Because I'm trying to figure things out, and I'm trying to figure out what your mindset is. I think your attorney and other people, if somebody comes to them and say, hey, we're playing video games, but come with me. We're going to go shoot up this house. Here's your gun. Let's go shoot up this house. I'm trying to figure out what your mindset was in all of that. So you're playing video games. Were you drinking?
Man,
All right. So you're not drinking. You're sober. Were they drinking?
no.
So they're not drinking. They're sober. So how does the conversation go?
It was more of a retaliation thing.
No. I mean, what's the conversation? You're playing video games. Maybe somebody's, talking trash about, you can't win, I beat you. Then what's the next conversation? Hey, there's a person down the street. We don't like that person. We're going to go shoot up their house. We want you to come with us. I'm trying to figure out how the conversation went from you're playing video games. Maybe.
Let's talk motive. Retaliation is not a legal defense. If you're helping someone get back at someone else and shots are fired, you're in just as deep. Ethan may not have known who was in that house, but the law doesn't forgive blind bullets.
You all are trash talking to each other about, I'm beating you, you can't win. You know, I trash talk during Mortal Kombat. So you're playing the video game. How does the conversation go? Who says, and if you don't want to name names, you don't have to name the specific names, but, you know, who brings up the conversation and says, hey, we have some guns. We're going to go shoot up this house down the street. How does that conversation happen?
So I was at work. I got there. We were playing games. They let me know that they had information from.
Who's they? So what she's at, what she's trying to get is specific of the conversation.
Names.
Yeah, who brought it up?
I would say Chris.
All right. So a conversation starts with Chris. Chris says,